So thank you for the feedback about the Supreme Court if the president should appoint a man or a woman. He appointed a woman, some woman by the name of, let's see here, Amy Barrett. And I personally believe that the president should have appointed a man for the U.S. Supreme Court. It was disappointing to see him appoint a woman, but I'm pretty sure without asking him that he did it to appease the voters, his support. And so that's why he put a woman. It doesn't make any sense at all that he appointed a woman to it, except to appease the voters, his support team. So I believe that's why he did it. And we will live to regret the fact that the president appointed a woman to the U.S. Supreme Court. This woman is a liberal. Well, I don't know if she goes by liberal, but she's no different than the other feminists. This woman supposedly have 7 children, 2 of them adopted from another country, and they black. But yet, she does not stay home and raise the children. At which tell me that this woman think that she's above men, and that she is a man, and that she can go to work and raise children and be like a man. It's not true. It is literally not true. This woman is on an ego trip like 90 going north, and she's no different than a liberal feminist. It's just with a different name. But you're going to live to regret this, because if she's not decent enough to stay home and raise the man's children, she's not going to think straight on the court. Believe me. And it's more than just the abortion issue. There are a lot of other issues that are going to the courts now, and this woman will not support conservative Christians in the way that you think she will. It's unfortunate that women are so insecure that they feel that they got to intrude upon everything that men do. Instead of doing the woman's thing, staying home, or being a wife, being a mother, there's nothing more important than raising decent human beings. That's what makes society great, decent human beings. In the good old days, I remember in the good old days when there were basketball teams and football teams, men played football, and for basketball, they would have women's basketball team and a men's basketball team. Now the women want to give up their team and be a part of the man, want to corrupt the man's team, make it weak, bring it down, because whenever women get involved with men issues, you got to lower the standards. It's not in her nature to come up to the standard of a man. It's just not there. You can't, just because you pass laws or make them become Supreme Court, they still don't have the same logic, the same standard that a man has to make tough decisions. It's just not going to work. You're going to be disappointed in this woman. She's not decent enough, and I have her to raise a family, so it would have been best for the president to appoint a conservative Christian man for the U.S. Supreme Court. A man like with the same drive and honesty and love that Justice Clarence Thomas has. He's not afraid to stand up for what is right. Because most men today are afraid to stand up. They're afraid of that woman's spirit, which is mama's spirit. They have not overcome it. That's why you must be born again, to overcome mama's spirit. Then once you overcome that by being born, returning to the Father, you have no fear. And so when you do run into mama's spirit and other people, you can deal with it because you're not afraid of it. It's not your God anymore. So I believe the president should have appointed a man, a conservative, real Christian, not a fake Christian, not a Bible thumper lifting up holy hands, carrying on, but one that lives it. One like Donald Trump, a man that's not afraid. But as you know, the world is the Old Testament, and women are being appointed to the world to run the world in order to destroy it. They're not going to make it better. They don't make the family better if they're in charge of the family. The man has to be there to guide her. And so just think what she's going to do to the world if she's running the world. It's not going to turn out well. You think Black Lives Matter and Antifa is bad? Just wait. It's going to get worse before it gets better. The Old Testament, that's why you have to return to the Father so that you can live from within. Be in the world, but not of it. All right? So I say a man, the order of God, God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, and woman over children. It's amazing what's happening to men today, starting in the home. I hear women say, oh, men don't do it. Men don't step up. All the man has to do is step up. He can't step up because he never had a chance. It starts in the home. If he's not raised to develop into a man while in the home, he's not just going to be able to walk out of his door as an adult and be the man. His nature has not developed. He developed in the image of the mother rather than the image of the father. So he just can't be a man. He got to be born again. He must return to the Father. And it's not surprising now in my life, but it's amazing how males go along with what women are doing. And I understand they just can't help it. Brand new biblical question. What is the glass ceiling and why does it need to be broken? Men are being led down into hell and the world is going crazy because men are being led by darkness. And it's just not going to work out. Look at all the mess in the world today. Men are the light of the world, salt of the earth, and they have a responsibility to represent that. As the women are representing evil, they're doing their job. They're representing their daddy, Satan. But the men are not representing their daddy, God. Because they don't understand. They must be born again. The only way you're going to be able to do it where it's real and it works and it's powerful is when you return to the Father. Because you can't fake it. Just to prove my point, and I think that this is a very good point. My producer, Nick, gave me this morning, and it just really made the point for me. This far-left outlet, Politico, and Politico is a far-left outlet, right? They are calling a newly nominated Amy Coney Barrett a feminist icon. And she really is. She dressed up in the title of conservative or Republican. I don't know if she calls herself conservative, but Catholic and all that. But she's really one of them. Just have a different name. It's like women who pretend to be men and men who dress up and pretend to be women. They're dressed up like a woman or like a man, but they're still just a woman or a female or a male. This woman is a liberal, dressed up as a conservative. Politico, this is from Politico. Barrett embodies a new kind of feminism. It insists not just on the equal rights of men and women, but also on their common responsibilities, particularly in the realm of family life. In this new feminism, sexual equality is found in asking men to meet women at a higher standard of mutual responsibility. In other words, this new feminism is turning men into women, and they are now pretending that men are meeting the standard of women, but they're not. They're going down to the standard of women. They're not meeting it. When you become a housewife and you're a man, when you stay home and the woman go to work, or if you go to work and she go to work, you have to, you're coming down to her standard. You're becoming a woman. She's not becoming a man. And no such thing as mutual responsibility. There are roles for women, there are roles for men. So here's Amy Brett praising Ruth Ginsburg for breaking the so-called glass ceiling.
Justice Ginsburg began her career at a time when women were not welcome in the legal profession. But she not only broke glass ceilings, she smashed them. For that, she has won the admiration of women across the country and indeed all over the world. Yes. She was a woman of enormous talent and consequence, and her life of public service serves as an example to us all.
So Ruth Bader did not break a glass ceiling. They came down to her. This woman is a liberal. She's praising another liberal female feminist. And I don't care about the Catholic part. Catholics are weak anyway. Look at the priest, the Pope, The Pope is 10. That's a female. But this woman is not a conservative. It needs to be a conservative man. Here is Barrett also thanking her husband. His name is Jesse, unfortunately, for supporting her in her work. Watch this.
I couldn't manage this very full life without the unwavering support of my husband, Jesse. At the start of our marriage, I imagined that we would run our household as partners. Jesse does far more than his share of the work. To my chagrin, I learned at dinner recently that my children consider him to be the better cook. For 21 years, Jesse has asked me every single morning what he can do for me that day. And though I almost always say nothing, he still finds ways to take things off my plate.
So to interpret that, she's saying her husband, Jesse, is a woman. He's a beta. He worship me. He does everything. He put on a dress and stay home and cook and iron and sew while I go to work. I'm wonderful. He praises me. Every day he want to know, what can I do to make you happy? My husband is a woman. I'm married to a woman. That's what she's saying. And without realizing, or maybe she has already, her children, their children, his children are suffering for it. They're going to turn out to be in a mess. It's not going to turn out well. These women who are going to work and going to work and have children, the kids are suffering because they're not there to watch over this man's children while he go and provide. Kids need parents, both parents. It starts in the home. You can dress it up to look like whatever you wanted to and feel good about it. It's not real. Only the real deal work. This woman, you will live to regret that the president appointed her to the White House, to the courts. She is not a good example at all, and her husband is weak. He's a woman. And she just told you that. In dressed up words. And he's sitting there looking like a weak idiot. His wife is embarrassing him. The world now know that he's a girl. Back in 2019, this is from Notre Dame. Back in 2019, this woman, Barrett, spoke at her automata, the Notre Dame law schools, and touched on how she has balanced a career and family life. Watch this.
My mother-in-law has a theory about how women can balance family life with their careers. What is your theory?
When Jesse and I got married and we were here, I loved practicing at the law firm. When I had Emma and I was at GW doing a fellowship thinking about going the academic route, I was very on the fence because I'd had my first baby and I felt terribly guilty leaving her in childcare to go into work. We were open to either one of us staying home, at different points when things were intense with the children. But I think what's really made it work is that it's very much a team effort, and in fact, right now, just because I'm in a job that is still new to me and I'm still on a learning curve, so Jesse's really doing much more of the heavy lifting right now. I mean,
he's a better woman.
He's doing most of the cooking and he's doing most of the kids' doctor's appointments and things like that during the day. Almost 16 years we've had, consistent childcare in the home, and that's been really what's made it possible.
Amazing. That's a sad commentary there. She loved work outside of the home more than she loved being home and helping the husband, watching over his children, raise the kids. She's on an ego trip. She's a feminist. Nick and Joel and I were just talking about how that woman, what's her name, Garrett, was speaking at Notre Dame, and she was talking about her husband really. He carrying a heavy load and all that, saying that he's the woman in the home. He cooks. He does everything, right? And we were saying that she is embarrassing him in front of the world. She's telling the world he is a woman. And he's sitting there looking stupid thinking that it's a good thing. And if it's true that he has become a woman in the home, she shouldn't tell the world about it. There's nothing to be bragging about. But it's making her feel good, her ego feel good, for the world to know that she's married to a beta male. Her husband has switched roles. And poor men don't even understand it. They know something is wrong, but they don't know how to overcome it. And the weaker you become, women will embarrass you. They'll let the world know that you're a weak beta under the pretense of saying something nice about you. But if you went and told the world, if her husband got up and said, you know what, I'm married to an ego-driven woman that want to be a man. I should have never done this. She's unwilling to change her last name. She's unwilling to raise children, stay home and raise children. She thinks being a planned man out there working is better than being a mother. I made the wrong mistake. I got the wrong woman. It would be all over for him. He can't speak the truth, but she can say that he's a woman. Because that's what she's saying in coded language. So the president was campaigning in Virginia on Saturday, and he asked the crowd, and he's done this before at different campaigns, at different rallies, and he asked the crowd if he should pick a man or a woman for the Supreme Court. This is from Rev.com. Here's the President Trump campaigning in Virginia. Watch this.
Be on there for 50 years. The only thing I can tell you for sure is it will be a woman. Is that okay? Does anybody have any objections to that? Please raise your hand. A lot of cowards out there. Look at you men. I don't see how. There's not one man here that has the guts to raise your hand.
Wow.
Not one.
Isn't that like sad? Joel, had you seen that?
No, that's my first time seeing that. I didn't know that he said it like that.
And what do you think hearing it for the first time?
That I think he was trying to be funny, but there's so much.
You were being honest,
right? But there's so much truth behind it.
Yeah.
Is that, and there's people who have called in and said to you that they were afraid to say. Yeah,
one man called in and said he was at one of those rallies, and the president asked the same question, and everybody went, "Yeah, for the woman." And then when he asked about the man, he had to stand alone almost.
Right.
I think maybe one other, but he had to stand alone. He was afraid to do it. He felt fear and all that, but he did it anyway. And that's men, no. The president, honest, cowardly men are afraid to applaud for the men. What kind of, you might well cut your little thing off and be a female.
Give it away.
Yeah. You ain't using it. And I showed it to Nick yesterday. I'm like, Nick, the president, he hadn't heard it yet, my producer. Nick, what was your impression when you first heard the president say that?
It blew my mind because you said it at church, right?
Uh-huh.
You said that the president said that he called the men cowards for that.
Yeah.
and I'm like looking for that. And then when you showed it to me, it blew my mind. I think I literally yelled. I was like
did?
yelling. I was like, no, yes.
That's amazing. The president said it out loud like that. No other president would have said that because they would have been afraid to speak up for men too, to call them weak. But the president doesn't have that kind of fear. That's amazing, huh? Men, it's not normal to be afraid, really. It's not normal for a male to have fear. You're not supposed to be afraid of the woman or of anything or anyone. And you don't feel brave, it's just that you don't have fear. When you return to the Father, you overcome the fear. Any male that has fear of speaking up or showing love, meaning treat everybody the same, is a woman. That's not normal, men. You must be born again. And ladies who are afraid to speak up against these feminists, that's not normal for you. Return to your fathers, and you'll overcome the fear. In 2018, for the third year in a row, women outnumber men in law school classrooms across the country. These women are taking over the courts and things like that. Think about the laws that they have already gotten passed against men. Every man is a rapist. Every man is a molester. Every man is violent. Every man is awful. And they can yell at you. They can do whatever they want to you. And if you stand up, you going to jail, not the woman. Men, y'all think y'all got it bad now? You ain't seen nothing yet. And in the Old Testament, as it is today, whenever the world is truly coming to an end and it's going to be destroyed, when you see homosexuality come to the forefront, and homosexuality is in the forefront, lesbian and all that crap, like never before, it's in the forefront. When you see women taking over, the world is coming to an end. And I believe in the Bible it talks about signs of it. You should pay attention. If you want to know when the world is coming to an end, it's happening right now. Homosexuality, women taking over, pretending to be men. Children are growing up without two parents. Schools are brainwashing children, turning them against God and against family, their own family. I'm not making this up. Open your eyes and you will see. Read, especially Bible thumpers, read the Old Testament. If you have not returned to the truth within yourself, you'll see it. And look at the world. You'll see what's happening. You'll say, oh, Justin's not making this up. This is real. So I want to go to Joel first. Joel, what do you think about Amy Brett being nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court?
Well, at first, I was like, oh, Trump should pick a woman. Reason why is because I think that there was something to be said for him trying to work with his followers. But I was wrong.
And now what do you think?
I repent.
What made you change your mind?
Just because, I mean, ultimately, no woman should be in those positions. Even if they don't have kids, I still don't think they should be in those positions. I feel like God doesn't really put ambition in women like he does men. And the women who, quote unquote, say they have ambition is the driving force of their ego, not from the natural inspiration that God gives to men. So I just don't think it would work. But I was just thinking Trump was just trying to work with his fan base and kind of work with the people and not be too holy. But overall, nothing's going to get done properly unless it's in the proper order. So I take it back.
Amazing. Nick, what do you think about the woman the president picked for court?
It's a mistake. I think you broke it down perfectly, but the fact that people like Tony are calling in so open and like supporting Amy is very telling. It should make you worried that someone like Tony's like, oh wow, I'm so glad that Amy's been picked, right?
Tony from California,
right?
Tony said he liked having a woman's mind,
right?
a woman's mindset.
That should
He think like a woman and he happy about it. What
should
the?
make you worried. And your biblical question is so fitting. It's like the glass ceiling. The glass ceiling's been broken for thousands of years. This is an ancient thing. Women have been trying to usurp men since the beginning of time. To think that
This is Adam and Eve.
yeah, it's been broken for a long time. It's the biggest lie to say that women just a few years ago were oppressed. It's one of the biggest lies of society.
Yeah. Amazing. And Chris, the social media guy, he white, real white. Chris.
Good morning.
Good morning. What do you think about the nominee for the Supreme Court?
Well, yeah, again, I agree with what everyone has been saying. It shouldn't be a woman. It can literally be any guy, like just any of us in here. Like I could walk outside right now and like, hey, you across the street. It could just be any man, and I'd prefer that over a woman. Other than that, I mean, I wish her well. I wish we could, sort of course correct and stop placating, with women and things like that. But again, it is what it is. Trump nominated her. I'm assuming the Senate will, put her onto the Supreme Court. So, I mean, I wish her well. The only thing I can hope for now is that she will listen to the president and listen to the people.
She's not going to listen to the president. She doesn't even listen to her own husband. She turned her husband into a woman. I don't know if she did it.
I can see, I can see all that. Yeah. I'm just, again, I hope for the best. I mean, one of the things I have to say is that when she first, about a week ago now, when they were saying like, oh, she's the top candidate, and they were saying like, well, she's Catholic and she's done this and she's done this and this and this, and it's still, she might have all those things, but if you're a woman, two, even if a man had all of those things, if you still live in this, in that liberal mindset, that female mindset, it just, you're taking a gamble at every decision you give to the Supreme Court.
Amazing. What do you think? James of the HateReport.com, Monday through Friday.
You guys all hate women.
9 a.m. to 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Monday through Friday. How do you feel about this?
Well,
This appointee with the 7 children, 2 of them black, adopted from Haiti. She could have walked down the road from right at her house there, Washington D.C. and got some. Wherever she came.
A lot
from.
of them out there.
A lot of blacks out there.
I thought that she was kind of pretty, but then she looks like she has a little bit of crazy eyes. And what else? I was not surprised that Trump picked a woman. It just made sense because, well, made sense in the worldly sense of making sense, which doesn't make sense, but it's the worldly way.
Right.
To replace the female Ginsburg, right? And I thought that it is so-called smart politically because it's close to the election. It's the quickest way to get it through, her through. I mean, get the justice replaced on short order.
Yeah.
Because what can they do? They can't really do much. They can say that she's too conservative or something.
Too Catholic.
Yeah. So that, but at what cost? I don't know. I guess we'll see.
It's going to be hell.
Honestly, like
this country will regret that woman is in there.
I don't like either of the female-minded males very much that he already appointed.
Yeah.
I heard that his favorite justice is Clarence Thomas.
It has to be.
Yeah,
it's God's favorite.
What's funny is that was by H.W. Bush, and he turned out evil. I don't know how he was when he was in office. I was a kid, but I am not happy with how she talks.
Me either.
I thought, oh, you know what? It sounds like could be my sister-in-law who's very into politics and she drives. Oops. Sorry, Brian. But like
Smack
I know
your
that
brother.
she's
Yeah.
very conservative and very principled. But this lady, like, she was paying too much lip service to that female.
She worshiped Ginsburg
Yeah.
because she agrees with it. And if you agree with evil, it's because you are evil.
Yeah.
She's not. When I saw her walking down the step with those little make the boys hold hands and all that crap, I'm like, this is that word, my manly word.
I know. She looked. I was
I'm
wondering
like,
if
this is.
there she is. I was wondering if she was annoyed by the cameras, or just annoyed by her husband or something,
She a pro.
or
they didn't
acting
get,
like she's
they didn't move
the boss
fast
of the
enough
world.
that morning for her.
Yeah,
Why is she wearing
she
black?
seems like she snaps. Like you were saying, James, she has those eyes.
Yeah.
Like she smiles, but when it comes
intense.
time to it, I bet she snaps a lot.
Another thing that's happening, the conservative women and the liberal women, when someone mentioned this woman has 7 children, she need to be home with her
Yeah.
children. They don't want you to even mention that at all. No, a woman can have it all. Why can't she work and have children at home? She can have it all. Even the conservative women are on the wrong side of the fence.
Yeah, you've mentioned that these women in these courts, maybe even the Supreme Court, and in the Congress and everywhere, they boss around the males who
Yeah.
are also up there.
They do.
They boss them around. They just intimidate them and
It's that
ingratiate
spirit of
them.
mama in them. That's what it is. And man has to get over mama's spirit in order to deal with it in other women.
Yeah, it's just like Susan Collins is a rhino who's voting no. I heard, she says, against any nominee she was going to vote no because
Not because
she's a rhino.
Yeah. It's not
Yeah.
because
not because she's anti-feminist.
right. She's voting on some stupid fake conservative principle.
I'm
Right.
not surprised at her.
But they're
Why don't they
even
vote her
those.
out?
But I'm referring to those females. Those are traitors. Like you can rely on them to side with the Democrats. These
Every time.
female,
Yeah.
except for I like Michelle Bachmann,
Me
who
too.
also had an intense look sometimes with her
Yeah,
eyes.
yeah.
But I mean, I liked her, but I don't know if she should have been in office either.
No. No, I like it, but not like that.
Right.
What,
But,
do you,
I don't know.
what do you think about this notion of her working and having 7 children? And why would she adopt 2 other black children when she's unwilling to stay home and raise her own kids?
Right. That
To do the work.
is a pretty big. Yeah. Put those kids to work. Well, one.
Oh, slaves.
Well, one. What's going
What
on
else
with
are kids?
what's going on with adopting an older the black girl is older than her first child.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
I know.
That's one thing.
That black girl look like she's older than she is.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was a worker or something when I first saw her.
Yeah, like her personal assistant or something.
Right.
She works for the
Yeah.
court or
What the?
But
Maybe James is onto something.
Take care of the kids.
Yeah.
yeah.
nanny.
Adopt a babysitter.
She adopted a nanny.
But yeah, it's I mean, so she already has five of her own kids. Then you tack on 2 adopted ones. That's already a lot of work. They're black, Haitian. That's already a lot of work right there.
But why did she?
And you're
even-
going to work.
And they're
Yeah.
school-aged kids.
Why did she adopt 2 more when she is unwilling to raise her own that popped out of her womb?
Yeah, egomaniac. And again, it's probably a liberal mindset. I don't, adopting a child isn't, a bad thing or anything like that. But given that she has a very demanding job that she shouldn't have, but it's not like she's a part-time school teacher or some like,
Right.
substitute teacher or something like that. She's now a Supreme Court justice.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. She's been nominated as a Supreme Court justice. I mean, she's a judge, so.
Amazing.
But it's just ridiculous.
We played a clip of her in 2019 speaking at Notre Dame, and in the full clip, she's talking about how when she was getting married to Jesse, that she was
Jesse, her weak husband.
weak
not
Jesse
me.
M. Barrett.
He got the wrong name. They should have called him Juicy.
She was talking about how she was so influenced by meeting another young couple who had adopted internationally. And she was just like, I knew when I saw them that I was going to adopt internationally.
Oh,
and
man.
then she was talking all emotional about how when she first saw her first kid, how malnourished she was and all that.
What a
She's real
nutcase.
emotional about it.
Joel, what do you think about the notion she adopting these black kids when she's unwilling to stay home and raise her own children.
Well, that's the thing.
Remind me of Madonna.
It's crazy because, for one, it's crazy. That shouldn't have. It's just you should. If you can't take care of your own kids, then you want to add more. But the thing is, what's really tricky is that Satan. That's how Satan gets tricky and plays those games. Is that she's changing these names up to say that like her husband's doing. Like she said in that clip that we take turns raising the children, and he does the heavy lifting.
My husband is a woman one day, and then I'm a woman one day.
What's she really trying to say? Right.
She said like tag, like team and partner.
Right.
All the gay terms.
Right. But that's all it gets. Like he makes it deceiving to where it seems like it could work, but it's really not working.
I'm telling you.
And everybody, I more so blame the people because a lot of conservatives are believing into it. Like they think that this is the standard. She has 2 adopted black Haitian kids. Her she's married. She got a family. This is Trump. This is the Trump's America. This is. I'm like.
James, the last word, when she said, I believe it was at the school where she said her husband cook, or did she say that during the announcement the other day?
Right. No, it was at the school, and she was just like, I have a new demanding job, and there's still a learning curve, so my husband's doing most of the heavy lifting. He does the cooking.
If that had been my wife sitting in the public saying, I've been cooking, that would be her last meal. I would never cook again. I was like, I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah, I would bait.
Peanut butter and jelly.
But that would be the last meal. I would never cook again. I would run every time I see a stove.
I just let the family go hungry until she decides to cook.
I'm telling you. Yeah. She embarrassed this man amongst the world that he's a beta male. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Mind-blowing stuff. What are you talking about today on your show?
I'm going to touch on some of the stuff that she's stood for, this Amy Barrett woman, and maybe a little bit about her husband, if I find anything interesting. But the riots are it's seemingly like the riots are still kind of going on.
They're going to do it until after the election.
Military suicides are up 20%, by the way.
All those women and the gays and the drag queens in the military. What do you think?
I'm going to touch on Ilhan Omar's alleged voter fraud corruption thing.
Amazing.
And Parscale.
They need to lock Ilhan up and ship her back to her country. Yeah. And never let her over here again.
Yeah, it was ridiculous that they let her become a citizen, much less, well, I don't even know if she is a citizen, much less a representative. But Brad Parscale was supposedly suicidal, Trump's former campaign manager. So I'm going to touch on that as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And what's your show?
TheHakeReport.com/show, 9 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time.
One quick short word. These are my experts, folks. I need them. Y'all need them. The world need them. They're needed. Mm-hmm. I got to ask you this, Chris.
Yep.
This is from ESPN. For the first time in NFL's history, 3 women were on the field Sunday in an official capacity during a regular season game. 2 female coaches, one of the Washington football team and one for the Cleveland Browns. And the Washington football team used to be the Redskins.
Right.
Now it's the Washington football team. But they got a female coach and one for the Cleveland Browns, as well as one female NFL official. What do you think about
that? As if you needed any more reason to not enjoy football, they throw this into the mix.
Oh man, look at those people! What the heck?
Her jacket.
The one on the right is a woman.
Oh, that might be a man.
And the one in the middle, her jacket says "End racism."
What? Is that a woman too with the black?
She has the
All
tape.
3, yeah.
The one on the left actually at least looks like
the one on the Browns. The one on the Browns that's a woman on the right.
They shouldn't let these women like they put a mask on.
Is it a trans?
So we'll know what it is.
Now you're making me doubt it, though.
But
we have like the same haircut.
When you think about
Don't say that.
women imposing themselves upon everything that belongs to men, why are they so jealous of men and so insecure. They feel like they got to destroy everything that belongs to the man. You
Right.
don't see men trying to get into this stuff.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I mean, you don't go down. You don't go down.
Right.
But it's just, it's a symptom of just a demoralized a society that's in decay. You just the world is upside down, and these are the symptoms. These types of things. And I mean, it's absurd. It just shows the ego of the woman, like the spirit of the woman. Like these are the things that happen. Like the same thing happened with the Boy Scouts.
They're out of business.
They're
now.
out of business, and
The woman destroy everything that's manly
yeah.
because she worked for Satan. Joel, did you want to comment on
I
that?
was just gonna say that
Yeah.
I love the fact that these women are in the NFL coaching, and I hope that more women go in the NFL and coach.
Oh, okay,
So,
yeah.
You know why? So that we'll have
Everybody
a
can
reason.
stop watching it.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope they all wear racism shirts and they all look like transgenders.
Yeah. Joel's the progressive one in the bunch.
Well, the Black Lives Matter people are destroying football anyway, sports anyway, because all this Black Lives Matter mess.
Right.
My experts, folks. Thank you guys.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
It's breaking the glass ceiling.
Yeah.
It's broken. It's shattered. The house
Not
is
only
destroyed.
broke it shattered it.
I'm telling you.
And the
Anyway,
house is
thank you
destroyed.
guys.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Amazing. Let me go quickly to Charles out of Philadelphia. Charles, thank you for calling. Thanks for holding you on the air.